This is Steve Aliment and Annie O'Neill, right behind.
And I'll be right behind. You go on ahead, sweet mama, and I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. Oh, I'll be right behind. Run, sweet mama, and I'll be right behind. No matter how far, how deep, how steep, sweet mama, I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. Oh, I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. Oh, I'll be right behind. My heart's a vacant lot. I don't care if we get caught. Load it in, hook it up, and stay a while. Let your love wash over me like an ever-flowing stream. Then you can drift away for miles and miles, and I'll be right behind. Oh, sweet mama, I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. Oh, I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. Oh, sweet mama, I'll be right behind. Well, when you get going, baby, ball and jack. Well, I'll be right behind. I'll be following you down to the sugar shack for a little snack. I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. Oh, sweet mama, I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. Oh, I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind. I'll be right behind.
This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast, where it's all about encouragement.
Hello, and welcome back to Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Today, my guest is Mr. Steve Aliment. He's a singer, a songwriter living in Seattle, Washington. And Steve has been a long mainstay of the West Coast scene music for a number of years. His songs are guitar-oriented, rock and soul influence with vocal harmonies drawn from groups like the Everly Brothers, the Beatles, and the Temptations. Steve is constantly writing and recording and releasing new songs on a regular basis. I'm so excited today to have him on the show, pick his brain on music, who inspired him, who encouraged him, upcoming events he has going on. It's just, I'm honored to have him on the show today. This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one other podcast.
Hello, Steve.
Hey, Jody, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How about yourself? Hear me all right?
Sure.
How you been doing?
Pretty good, thanks. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Just work, home, repeat.
Right.
The circle of life.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is Mr. Steve Aliment. Hope I'm saying that correctly. It's an honor to have you on the Chit Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. I'd like to ask you a few icebreaker questions. We get started.
Okay, fire away.
If you could replace 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore with 4 musicians, who would they be and why?
Oh, who would it be and why? Well, one, of course, would be Elvis Presley. Because Elvis Presley's the king. He's the king of rock and roll. So I would definitely put him there. Another would be Hank Williams, because to me, he just like really one of the great country songwriters and singers, and he's just a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Died younger than Elvis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he was 29 or something. Then I put John Lennon up there because I just think he's terrific. I think the Beatles are terrific. I love them. I love what they did, for music and everything that followed, after the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then last, I think I would put David Bowie, because he's just one of the, I think, creative geniuses that pop music has seen, and he just evolved, through his career, continued to evolve and change and push boundaries, and so I hold him in real high regard.
That's a 4.
So I guess that would be 4. I mean, there's so many, right, Jody? It's really a tough question.
It can't be easy,
Yeah.
A couple of runner-ups off the top of your head that you might, if they had 4 or 5 heads up there. Anybody else you might want to throw up there?
Well, let's see. Do the Everly Brothers count as 1 or 2?
We can go with 2, I guess.
I love the Everly Brothers, and I really love the Rolling Stones. It's hard to pick any one of them out, but probably Mick and Keith, being the prime songwriters there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. So yeah.
What year would you want to go back and visit? You get a time machine, or era, actually.
Do I have to go back?
Oh, whatever you want to do. It's your time machine.
I think if I had a time machine, I would be really curious about, like, let's say the year 2122, right? Like, what's happening on this earth 100 years from now? I think that would be so exciting. I mean, what's travel like? What's music like? How's the world?
Mm-hmm.
Did we sort out the climate, or did we adapt to it? So many things like that I think would be really interesting to see. I mean, as far as going back, Jody, you can sort of read back the history, but you can't, there's no way to fathom what's coming in 100 years. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree. Question number 3. What is your favorite smell? Either coffee or bacon or barbecue, maybe cinnamon, something like that.
I like all those. One of my favorite smells, I think, is a really good bakery. I used to live in San Beach, and
Mm.
there were several amazing Italian bakeries in my neighborhood. And God, that smell is just so good and mouth-watering. And
A lot
then,
of fresh breads and stuff.
yeah, and then let's have a little coffee with it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What decade do you love the most? Is like a era of music, like the I was born in '70s, so I really like the '70s era of music, and in a lot of '80s as well. But I don't know. I sing songs of '70s all the time. Is there a decade of music you just love?
Yeah, Jody, I think I'm definitely with the 70s. I think, that period between 1970 and maybe 78, 79 will be seen as the golden age of rock and roll, I
Hmm.
think. And for me, it just wasn't the music, it was everything about then. It was the culture, the change, the social unrest, the upheaval of those times, you know, the civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, the
Yeah, yeah.
um, women's movement. I mean, there's so much change happened then. In fact, I just read a book. It's called The Upheaval, and it was about that. Although they went back into like 65 till the end of the Vietnam War, and it was so great, such a great read.
Mm. And last
Yeah.
question, and the reason why we have 5 questions is because this portion is brought to you by Taquiza. They're a taco shop in the area. I love tacos. Are you a big taco connoisseur?
Oh, I don't know if I'm a connoisseur, but I love tacos. Sometimes I make my own or hit a taco truck now and again. Which
Nice.
one do you like?
We have Taquiza. That's locally owned here, business here. I work at the mall, a part-time job, and they're right next door to us. They have 5 kinds of tacos, so I pop by and get jalapenos and tacos from time to time. But they're really nice people.
Are they in Seattle?
They're at the Kit Chat Mall actually in Silverdale. They might be elsewhere, but it's probably a locally owned one here that they have a little food truck and at the mall as well.
Oh, hell yes. I love tacos.
Last question. What sauce or condiment could you not live without?
I would say off the top of my head, mustard.
Mustard. Okay. Yeah. I'm a big
Any kind of mustard, right?
yeah, I'm a big barbecue sauce guy.
Oh, right on.
For my listeners out there who might not know who you are, could you give us a little brief bio on who Steve Aliment is?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, from a music standpoint, I'm a singer and a songwriter. I've been at it for quite a long time. Um, I've been playing in bands since I was a kid, and put out, some records with different groups. With my own group, No Cheese Please, back in the '80s, and with Yanks in the '80s, and I took a little time off of doing that and got back into it in earnest um, in 2000, let's say 18,
Mm-hmm.
and been recording and writing a lot of songs, and hooked up with my old longtime partner Bart Hyde, who's a really good guitar player and a really good colleague to be in a band with. And we've been just bearing down on songs, and had different guys in the band. We had Dave Warburton was in the band for a while, and Irene Pena was in the band for a while, and then but now we've kind of settled on, me and Bart, Perry Morgan on drums, and Annie O'Neill, who's just a phenomenal singer and friend and colleague in the band. And so the four of us have been really putting out a song every month and a half for the last 3 or 4 years.
Hmm.
So,
Who inspired you in getting involved in music? A mom, dad, friend, or teacher?
well, Elvis Presley and the Beatles, I would say.
Okay.
Um, and my mom was part of that. My mom was a country western singer, and she had a group called the Blue Bonnet Girls,
Oh, well.
and they were a trio, and they really sang beautiful country harmony. And back in the 50s, there was a TV show in Seattle called the Sheriff Tech Show. I forget which channel it was on. Maybe it was Channel 5. And they were the house group on the Sheriff Tech Show. So, they were on every episode, and they sang and a couple songs every show, and they sang.
Mhm.
Back then, they would sing the commercials too.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so when I got going in music, inspired by the Beatles on Ed Sullivan and Elvis Presley on the movie screen, my brother and I, actually my brother was sort of first. He got a drum set, and then and he was really good, and I got a guitar, and we started goofing around together, and then this was probably when we were you know 8 or 9 years old.
Hmm.
And with another kid in the neighborhood, we put a little group together, and then I just kind of kept going with it. I traded in the guitar for bass because a friend of mine was a guitar player, and he wanted me to play with him, and he said, "Look, I need someone to play bass, so let's go buy a bass." So we went down to the Guitar Center in Seattle, and this was by high school by then, and I bought a Mosrite, really cool Mosrite Mark X bass, and we started playing. And I guess I was just, you and I just talked about the 70s. I mean, everything that was going on in the 70s musically was just so inspirational. And
Hmm.
you know my mom encouraged it to a point, but of course she thought if I was going to go in a band, I'd be going down the road to ruin. So I wouldn't say she was enthusiastically encouraging me, but they didn't discourage me in any way. So, you know,
And you live here in the Pacific over in Seattle, right? Or in this area, the neck of the woods?
yeah, I live in Seattle now. I was born in Renton, Washington, and then when I was about 3 years old, we moved up to a place called Skyway, which is, uh, it's something between Seattle and Renton, but you have a Seattle address. And I went to Renton High School, and you know, and then I really got going with music when I got to college at the University of Puget Sound in Tacoma.
Hmm.
I met up with these guys. Actually, I was playing with this one group of guys, and someone came in. We were playing up in the attic of this house, and someone came in and they said, "Hey, who's the bass player?" And I was me. And he goes, "Well, these guys, down the street, they're looking for a bass player. If you want to come down and check it out." So I went down and checked it out, and they were way better than the guys I was playing with. So I threw in with them, and we that's when I guess really started getting going on it.
Hmm.
In a more way.
What does your inspirations of songs come from when you're writing? Is it like life experiences, or just topics top of your head, or what?
Yeah, sometimes it's real life with a little bit of uh, fiction stirred in, to
Mhm.
protect the innocence. Um, so I try to write from feelings and from my heart. Sometimes I write some funny, sometimes it's topical, like, during COVID, I wrote I don't know, I must have written 3 or 4 songs that were COVID related or COVID inspired because it was such a life-changing thing, for everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a song called "The Future of Touch," which is about because in COVID they were like, "Wash your hands, don't touch anybody, don't touch your face." So I wrote this song. What's the future of human touch?
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to be like? Are we going to be skin on skin together ever again? Who knows?
Well, yeah,
And I wrote another sort of tongue-in-cheek one called "Susie's Got the Flu," kind of a rocker. Um, I wrote another one called "We Can Hold Out," which I recorded with Kim Virant, and I wrote another one called "Jesus Where You Go." Sort of looking at COVID from a, you know, how could God or Jesus or whoever you believe in, who's all powerful and controls everything, how can they let something like this happen? That was kind
yeah.
of the theme of that song, and I know some people accused me of being, um, what's the word? Irreverent or, um, anti-religious or blasphemous in that song, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see it that way. I saw it more like, almost a prayer. So
Okay,
you can take it anywhere you want. So
gotcha. You have
yeah.
some amazing guitar skills, and did you teach yourself? Did you learn from people, or kind of a combination of both as you honed in those skills of playing the guitar?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an amazing guitar player I can play well enough to write a song and record a demo and then show it to someone like Bart Hyde who can really pick up on what I'm attempting to do and take it to, you know, a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an okay guitar player. I'm a pretty good bass player. I can play a little bit of um, keyboard, and I got a little lap guitar here that I sometimes use to show. I record all my own demos here at home in my studio, Jody,
Okay.
and I'll get the drums on. I'll get the guitar, the bass. I got my little keyboard right here, so I can play an organ part or a piano part, and I got the lap guitar, so I can show what I'm thinking on the slide. But then I sing the demos here,
Okay.
and then I send it out to the band on SoundCloud, and ask them what they think, and then we get together at the rehearsal studio and kind of catch ball it back and forth until we get the arrangement right. Then we go in the studio. So uh, that so I kind of went all around the racetrack there on answering your guitar question, but mostly I taught myself. When I was in grade school, I took a guitar class at Renton Music. Um, but they were just teaching me silly songs like Beautiful Brown Eyes and stuff like that. I wanted to play the Beatles, so I didn't really stick with that teacher. And then again, when I was in high school, I think you had to take a music class. So I
Mm-hmm.
took a guitar class in high school, and
Oh,
also I sang in the Glee Club, and I sang in the church choir. So I mean, about that, wouldn't say I'm completely self-taught. I mean, my mom, she had a guitar too, so she showed us how to sing. She showed us how to sing harmonies. So
one
yeah,
of the things I regret from my younger years is my dad always tried to teach me how to play the guitar, and I just had so much going on with sports and my being with my friends, and some days I kick myself in the pants for not learning a few more, guitar lessons or techniques or something. And but I always loved listening to my dad play, and he just kind of played some guitar riffs. I guess you call it guitar riffs. You just kind of fiddle around and make weird tunes. I just loved that back in the days.
yeah. Wow, you're lucky. My dad, he had no musical skills. He couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, but he loved music, and my dad's full-blooded Italian, so he'd try and sing, but it was painful to hear it.
Do you have any current projects going on right now?
Yeah, actually, I've got a brand new song coming out on Saturday. So that comes out on all the streaming channels, services, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Deezer, YouTube, over 150 online streaming stores. That one's called Empty Heart, and I think it's a good one. I mean, I wouldn't put it out if I didn't think it was good, but I leave it up to listeners to decide if they think it's good.
Empty Heart, all right. Yeah.
Empty Heart, and then I've got 2 more demos that I've recorded and already sent to the guys, and they say they like it, so we're going to go in and record those toward the end of October. One's called High, Dry, and Lonesome, and the other one's called Cold, Wet Ashes. So we'll get cracking on those songs pretty soon, and I want to get them out before the end of the year. So between now and the end of the year, I'll release, we will release 3 new songs. And then I've always got something going on. Jody, part of my process is I'm flipping through a little journal here that I've got. I'm always writing things down in this journal. Could be a phrase, could be a whole verse of a song, could be an idea for a chorus. And so when I get going on a new idea or a new tune, I always refer to this journal to, kind of help guide me on structuring the song and, looking for lyrics or looking for a clever way to say something.
Right.
Yeah. So I've always got some kind of a musical project on the board, because, when you sort of set a goal to get a song out every month and a half, you got to keep grinding on the ideas.
Yeah. During your playing career, has there been a venue you just love to sing at, where the acoustics are really good or the vibe is really great?
Well, when I was doing this group Danny Blaine, which was a real vocal acoustic oriented thing, I really loved singing at the Sorrento Hotel in Seattle in the Fireside Room. It has amazing acoustics. For that kind of a show, low volume, acoustic, harmony, fantastic place. Other places I liked singing, when I was in Yanks in San Francisco, I loved playing the Mabuhay Garden. That was a great club. The Stone, which was right across the street, was fantastic. Up here in the Northwest, I think my favorite place to play right now is the Spanish Ballroom in Tacoma. Place is amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, have you been there?
I have not been there.
Well, not too far from, you said you're in Silverdale?
Yes, sir.
Not too far from there.
Do you remember your first venue you performed at?
You mean for money or just for fun?
Sure, both.
Okay, for just for fun, or the first performance with a group, we didn't get paid, was at the Kappa Sigma fraternity at the University of Puget Sound. We played a party for those crazy guys. And that was really fun. And I think we played the same 5 songs over and over again all night. And they were so drunk they didn't care. The first paid gig that we ever played was at the Sunny Slope Hall, which is over there in, on that road from Gorst going out to Belfair. You see a sign that says Sunny Slope. And that's where we played. And we had this manager, can't remember her name, But she booked us in there, and that's the first time that we got paid real money. It was like, whoa, this is pretty cool, you know. And from then on, we didn't play for free anymore. So that was the first place. But there was one place that I think I really learned how to be in a band, and it was we used to play at this place in Bremerton called the Bull and Bash Tavern.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was right down. It's still there. The building's still there, but now it's a Hawaiian tiki bar kind of place.
Okay.
But it's not like where the ferry gets off. And we used to play there Wednesday through Saturday
Oh wow.
for like 4 hours a night.
When was
And
this?
this was in in mid 70s.
Okay.
And the place was full of drunken sailors. Bremerton's a Navy town.
Oh yeah, I was in the Navy.
And, you learn there how to sell a song. You learn how to play for 3 drunks or for 200, and you learn how to defend yourself. Because there was always some fighting going on, or somebody throwing a beer bottle at you, or something like that. But yeah, that's a place that I'll never forget, and I would say that was foundational for me to play.
Mm-hmm.
5 nights in a row, 4 hours a night, and do that, a couple times a month for months and months and months. We played there until we got really good. And so, yeah.
Have you ever opened for like big time names at all, and like a concerts, like an opening act for anybody?
Yeah. When I was in No Cheese Please, we opened for the Cramps. Opened for the Split Ends. We opened for somebody else at the Showbox. I can't remember right now. Split Ends, Cramps. It'll come to me. In Yanks, we opened for the Ramones a couple of times.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And Bonnie Hayes and the Wild Combo, and Marshall Crenshaw. Oh yeah, No Cheese Please. We opened for April Wine at the Paramount. That was the one I was trying to think of.
Can you share about some of the groups that you've been in over the years? You said the Yanks. How long were you in the Yanks?
Well, the first group I was in, the foundational group for me was a group called No Cheese Please.
Okay.
Became a pretty popular band around Seattle in the early 80s. And then in about 83 or 84, I was called by the Yanks, and I auditioned, and I got that gig. So I left Seattle and I moved to San Francisco and joined the Yanks. And I was down there for 4 or 5 years with Yanks. We made, some records, and we toured the US and Canada, and it was a really, really good group. And then after that, I came back to Seattle, and there was a guy named Steve Pearson who was in a band called The Heats in Seattle, and he had this group called the Range Hoods too. And but when I got back to Seattle, he tricked me into starting a new band, and we called it the Fighting Cocks.
Okay.
So that was me and Steve Pearson and Mike Wansley, who was the guy that sung Thrift Shop with Macklemore.
Okay.
He was in there. He played bass. I played guitar in that band, rhythm guitar. And broke up. Steve asked me to join the Range Hoods that was still going, so I played for some years in the Range Hoods. And then I moved away. I moved abroad for 10 years, and came back. I hooked up with the former lead guitar player for Yanks, who was in Seattle. And his name is Jack Johnson, and we put this thing together called Denny Blaine, which I think I explained earlier was a kind of an acoustic duo. But of course, we started, a electrifying that band sometimes, and we put Steve Smith on drums and Tor Dietrichson on congas and percussion. So, Jack and I did that for, maybe 3 or 4 years, up until the point where, I started this new thing, got back together with Bart and got really cracking on writing new songs. And I've been doing that ever since. So since 2017, 18. And the first iteration of that we called Steve Aliment's Albro Swift Exit. And then we had a guitar player, Duffy Delgado, but he had to move away, and then COVID hit, and all the venues shut down. I think we canceled 25 gigs. And COVID kind of sort of killed that band off. And then I still had some. When the venue started opening back up again in 2021, I was contacted by a lot of the booking agents that used to book Denny Blaine. And, hey, we've got these dates. I mean, they were offering me dates, and I didn't say no to any of them. And I called Jack, my partner in Denny Blaine. I go, hey, Jack, COVID's over. They're opening up. You want to do these shows? These are the shows. Here's how much we get paid. Da da da. And he for some reason he didn't want to do it. Maybe he was still freaked out about COVID, or maybe he was just tired of doing it. And so that's when I reached out to Annie O'Neill to actually just step in. And I called her. I go, Annie, I've got 10 dates in 2021. You want to do them? She was like, sure. So that's when we started working. Did I answer that question?
Yes, sir. I think so. I just watched the song you did, I believe, with Annie called "Right Behind." That's a
That's a
good
that was
song.
our last single we put out. She's terrific to work with. She's such a good singer. She's got perfect pitch. She's always prepared in the studio. She she just learns a song really fast, and she has good ideas on harmony and how to approach the song. So it's great to work with her. I'm just so blessed to have all these people I'm working with right now. Bart Hyde and Perry Morgan and Annie, and now Mark Westhoff. We got Mark in the band playing pedal steel. He plays a little dobro and he plays a little fiddle. So I'm really happy with this combination we got now. And we're playing this Friday at McMiniman's in Bothell, and then we're playing Saturday night down in Tacoma. So
What's kind of your style of your music when you guys get together? What if someone came to you never hearing you for the first time? What kind of style of music would they be hearing?
Well, I guess if I had to put one label on it, I'd call it Americana, but it's sort of a hybrid of blues and soul and country and singer-songwriter stuff that we sort of put our own stamp on. Sometimes it's real country, sometimes it's especially when Annie's singing, it's real soulful.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good show. It's a lot of diverse music, but it sounds like us.
Have younger musicians come to you asking for help or collaborating? Any advice you give other musicians? If that happens, what's it like for you to teach others, the guitar or different, bass or whatever else like that?
Yeah, I don't think anyone has really come to me for a bass lesson or anything like that. I mean, I have, some young singer-songwriters, I won't mention any names, but have asked me just for advice, I guess, on how to move forward in their career. And, so we talk about songwriting and singing and performing, how to get a song over, things like that.
Gotcha.
I have some people who I really respect as musicians and songwriters. Recently, one of my pals called me and was just kind of asking, like you, what's the inspiration for coming up with a song every every month and a half. So, I'm a seeker too. I mean, I'm always looking at what my peers are doing or working on. I work with Jim Basnight, sometimes, and I sang backups on every song on his latest album. I respect Jim a lot as a songwriter, and I think he's probably the most prolific songwriter in Seattle in the last 30 years, as far as I can tell. So I try to be an observer of other people and what they're doing and see what I can learn from them and bring into my music too. So I think you kind of have to do that, right? To keep growing.
Yeah, for sure.
One of your artists,
How can people connect with you and check out your music or website you have going on or anything like that?
Well, on SongWhip, I've got a profile on SongWhip, and there's links there to all the top, let's say 7 or 8 streaming services that carry my music.
Okay.
People can look me up on Spotify. That's kind of the main show, right? Spotify is the dominant streaming channel by far. I'm on Apple. I'm on Amazon. They can look me up on Facebook, Steve Aliment Music and Shows. You can see our releases and where we're playing. Also on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as S Aliment. I'm on Twitter as I'm on Instagram as SR Aliment, and Twitter is S Aliment. So people can find me there.
Well, Steve, thank you so much. It's been an honor to pick your brain a little bit about music, and I wish you and your band nothing but continued success and great health. And thank you for the time today.
Oh, terrific, Jody. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you even wanted to enter me. I hope it wasn't too boring.
No, sir. It was nice meeting you, and I look forward to checking out more of your songs. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye for now.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
October 21st, Grieve the Astronaut live at Real Art Tacoma. With very special guests, Chris Jones and Regan Lane. Brought to you by Real Art Tacoma and Lou Jack Promotions. This is an event like no other. You don't want to miss it. With Grieve the Astronaut performing songs off their newest album, Signs, as well as covers by Muse, Toto, and Tears for Fears. This is an event that will go down in the history books. Tickets are on sale now at realarttacoma.com.
Hungry? Craving tacos? If it's Tuesday or not, you gotta have tacos, right? Taquiza, tacoshop.com. They're located at the Kitsap Mall. They have tacos, and more tacos, and chimichangas, and burritos, and taco salads. You get it. They have amazing food, as well as beans and salsa and grilled jalapenos, my favorite. Their food's authentic, made fresh, and they're locally owned and operated. They got a Facebook page too, and a food truck with amazing breakfast burritos. That's Taquiza Taco Shop, Taquiza tacoshop.com. Their phone number is 360-698-4335 to place an order. The address is 10315 Silverdale Way, Silverdale, Washington. That's Taquiza tacoshop.com. Taquiza. With tacos, and more tacos are waiting for you. Are you craving donuts? Not those pre-packaged, been sitting on a shelf for who knows how long at your local grocery store donuts. No. At Lone Star Donuts, they're made fresh daily. These donuts are not your normal one bite and done donuts. No, sir. These are big, light, fluffy, and delicious donuts. They don't have 2 or 3 toppings. They have over 50 toppings, as well as cinnamons, apple fritters, and many other breakfast items. Call ahead and place your order today. Surprise your coworkers or the family with a box of these delicious donuts. Lone Star Donuts. Lone Star Donuts is located at 10876 Maury Place Northwest in Silverdale, Washington. Call and place your order today at 360-204-5021. Tell me you heard about this on the Chit Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy donuts. That's the same thing. That's Lone Star Donuts. I get to meet all kinds of musicians in different styles, and I can't wait to have Benji Stewart, aka Benji Phonic, on my podcast in a few weeks. And here's one of the songs, Rising Star.
Sir, we have an unidentified transmission.
Well, Sid Benji Phonic, I guess. 5, 4, 3, 2.
All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
I once heard a journey of 1,000 miles began with a single step. Just like every life from creation to now began with a single breath. Sometimes I doubt myself and wonder if I truly belong. A discordant note in the score of our journey's winding song. You know who you are. You're a rising star, a reservoir of hope in endless seas. You know who you are. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. If the event horizon of a black hole can store information, allowing us to see the unseen, like trapped in suspended animation, then shouldn't we be able to perceive the light of a lost and hidden heart no longer beating in the dark? No, we should set it free right now. You know who you are. You're a rising star, a reservoir of hope in endless seas. You know who you are. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. You're a rising star. We're all just lights in the night, shining for all to see. Our dreams incandescently bright, burning for you and me. All the fear and all the pain, all the doubt and all the shame, the weight we feel from all the blame can feed our sleepless nights. But all the love and all the light, the song of joy, our heart's delight, and all the acts of kindness might ignite our hopes and dreams. You know who you are. You're a rising star, a reservoir of hope in endless seas. You know who you are. You're a rising star. You're a rising star.
Today, I'm so excited to be having a little brief interview with Robbie Harte as she shares about her new song, Reason to Rise.
A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to interview Robbie Harte, and she was in the work of a brand new song coming out. And it's very, very powerful. And we're going to share it today on the Chit Chat Encouraging One podcast. This is Reason to Rise by Robbie Harte.
Shut out from the inside, nowhere to go, no place to hide, in a state I didn't know, afraid to let my feelings show, not to wake and cry, swallowed my pride, the love you made me fight. And brought me back to life. I was broken, battered, and nothing else mattered. Just shine your light on me. With my feet to the test, on my feet put to rest. You gave me something to believe. How I breathe and tell you, you're all that is real. My future's in your eyes. You're my reason to rise, the world to face, getting up again, my saving grace, but I couldn't see it then. I was lost without a trace, my whole life before erased, everything seemed plain. Let go of the pain. Love you made me fight and brought me back to life. I was broken and battered and nothing else mattered. You shine your light on me. With my faith to the test, all my fears put to rest. You gave me something to believe. How I breathe and tell you, you're all that is real. See the future in your eyes. You're my reason to rise. You're my silver lining, my hope that keeps shining. Why I was broken and battered and nothing else mattered. You shine your light on me. With my faith to the test, all my fears put to rest. You gave me something to believe. How I breathe and tell you, you're all that is real. I see the future's in your eyes. You gave me reason to rise. When I needed to feel this love that is real, my future in life. You're my reason to rise.
You can check out Robbie Harte's website at Robbie Harte, ROBBIEHARTE.com for her events and their schedule and her music as well. That was Robbie Harte, Reason to Rise.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me back. I'm so excited to chat with you.
You're welcome. I'm excited to hear about your brand new song, Reason to Rise.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very excited. It just came out last week, and I have some fun things coming out, the video coming out. I just have, a lot to do with the song, and just my gratitude for having the song out there is just really amazing. So I'm very excited.
Can you share a little bit about the inspiration of Reason to Rise?
Can you repeat that? You broke up on me.
Can you share a little bit about the inspiration behind the song Reason to Rise?
Absolutely. So about 14 years ago, just a little bit before 14 years ago, I was like on top of the world. My life was doing great. And I got badly injured and my life changed very suddenly and in every possible way. I had lost my ability to sing. Singing was something I always did and I always wanted to pursue as a career. And between having a bad injury and excruciating pain, I just wasn't able to sing anymore. And it was the most devastating time in my life. I mean, I just moved to a new country. I was just starting planting roots. I was, expecting my first child. It was just so much going on. And this turn for the worse at this moment really was like the beginning of a downward spiral, if you will. My health, my pain, and then just everything was affected. And just things I couldn't do things on a daily basis that I was normally able to do. And it was just very difficult. I couldn't sing my way through the pain for the first time in my life, which was absolutely devastating because I had no release for my pain, my emotional and my physical pain.
Mm-hmm.
And this went on for quite some years. And about 5 years ago, I started my journey to pursue my dream to sing again, no matter how difficult. And that was my reason to get back up. That and my daughter. So at the time, I was going through this most difficult period of my life, which had gone on for many, many years. It hadn't changed despite my going through several surgical treatments and pain treatments and surgery. It wasn't getting any better. And I just couldn't imagine that my life was going to get any different. So I was in this pit of, misery and pain. And I never let on to other people that I was feeling this way, that I was in so much pain and my life was so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't have much hope that anything was ever going to change. I just figured I was going to live like this for the rest of my life. And everything that I used to do was a memory, and there wasn't much that I could do at the time. So I didn't have much to look forward to. And between my daughter and music, they gave me a reason to rise. And I say those two things because they both happened at the same time. They came into my life the same way, and they both did the same things for me. It gave me a reason to rise above my pain. It gave me a reason to get up in the morning, even though it was so hard, and to do things, and
Right.
gave me a reason to do something different. And to forgive myself and to heal pain from the past. I was able to experience that from both of those ways, through my music and through my daughter. So they're both deep inspirations in the song. And it was incredible. The transformation was absolutely incredible. It lifted me out of this rut that I had been in for so many years. And although things aren't significantly better pain-wise, my outlook is completely different. And putting myself out there and pursuing things and creating things is giving me life. Creating music and creating healing through my music, healing old wounds through writing new songs, is giving me healing that is giving me purpose, and it's letting me heal so I can move on. And it's just been incredible. And it's given me a reason to rise and rise above my pain and rise above the circumstance that I was in, and just say, I'm not going to end the story here like this for the rest of my life. I'm going to change the story now. And I took my pain and I turned it into my purpose.
Have you thought about writing a book about this experience and this title? This is a very powerful, empowering title for anyone who is going through difficulties.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's very sweet that you would mention that. And sometimes I don't think to write a book about my experiences, because I'm like, who'd want to hear about what I'm going through? There are people that are going through so many worse things, and I'm just going through this, or, oh, this just happened to me. But there is something to be said when you're going through something and you hear somebody go through something similar. There's something that happens. You say, I'm not alone, and this person could do it. I can do it too. So I can understand people that are in a similar situation may hear my words, and I hope that they're empowered by them. And I really do sincerely hope that it gives them an opportunity to find their reason to rise, because I can't even tell you the difference it made in my life. It changed my perspective on everything. It changed, from being in I guess I used the word rut before. So being in a rut, I mean, I kept reminding myself, well, you know what, it's just pain, and it's just sucked out the life of me, and I can't do anything, but at least I'm better off than, most people, and I can still do this, and I can still, I'm not sick, I'm just in pain and all of these things. But I never imagined that my life was going to improve to the point where I'd do something significant, create something, and empower people. And just this journey has been absolutely incredible.
Have you got responses from people who have heard your song and let you know, hey, this song is empowering me to rise from their pit?
Well, thank you. And I've actually had people tell me that it's like a power anthem, it's a power ballad, and the lyrics are very powerful. And to me, they're so simple. It's how I breathe and how I heal. Music is how I breathe and how I heal. Writing songs and telling my stories is how I communicate with people. And it's also how I heal wounds from now and heal wounds from like 20, 30 years ago. It's just how I've gone through life like that. And so for me, it was this process when I was, looking at these circumstances and saying, music gave me the reason, and my daughter gave me this reason to get up, to put myself out there, and to just say, I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it started a life of its own, really. And being at this point in my career where I am right now, where I'm writing songs that are empowering people, inspiring people, I look back and I say, if you would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have laughed. I would have said, no way. There's no way. I can't even get out of bed. I can't move. I could barely walk like up one flight of stairs. There's no way. And of course, now I'm challenging myself on a daily basis to push myself to be able to do more and more things. And I know that that was through the grace of doing these things and having the inspiration and the motivation to push myself to where I'm at, I'm just so grateful. And I hope that somebody else hears my words and wants to take the same journey or a similar journey, and they see that, there is another way, or there are opportunities, and they can make their own opportunities, and it gives them a reason to get up and rise.
Right. I truly believe you are inspiring others in your words and your songs. And I just want to thank you so much for the few minutes we have, and may God continue to bless you and your family. And as you inspire others, you may not know it, but I'm sure you are in your words and your story. Thank you so much for the opportunity today to just share about Reason to Rise.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for doing the work you do. It is so important, and I can't tell you how much I smile whenever I see your feed. So thank you so much for everything you do, and thank you for your amazing support.
You're welcome. God bless. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one other podcast. What it's all about, encouraging others.